So a report came out that there isn't even much of a market for Trey Lance if the 49ers want to trade him, and also it seems like Brock Purdy's going to be the starter. I don't know how true these reports are. I had to not pay too much attention to them, but I thought it'd be a pretty interesting video of talking about the 10 teams that should trade for Trey Lance. Let's just get into it. Number 10, the Seattle Seahawks, who have Geno Smith, and they like Geno Smith. So this is under the assumption that, it's not costing too much draft capital to get someone like Trey Lance, because you are trying to be competitive right now. But it's like, listen, Geno was very good last year, but how confident do you feel that he can consistently do that? Pretty confident, not zero confidence, right? But would it be good to have a backup plan? Potentially. So while they're lower on the list, I still put them on the list for that reason. Number 9, Miami, which Dolphins fans are going to freak out. Don't freak out yet, because I like Tua, and I think as long as Tua is healthy, I don't think Trey Lance would help you at all. I don't need that. The concern is just Tua's health. That's the only reason that they should make this move. If they want to have another quarterback who can, again, it's the same scheme that Kyle Shanahan drafted Trey Lance to be able to be in, you have him be behind Tua. If Tua gets injured, well, now you have a good backup option and a good plan B if Tua has some injuries that are concerning long-term, and he says, you know what, screw this, I don't want to play football anymore, I'm done, my health's too important for me. Well, then you have someone like Trey Lance who can come in, and you have that backup option. So again, it's purely to be a plan B situation, but maybe they could use a plan B, so that's why they're here at 9. Number 8, the Minnesota Vikings, who, again, this would be a sort of a soft move off of Kirk Cousins. You don't have to move off of Kirk Cousins right away if you don't want to. In fact, one way you could do this is just maybe like a Kirk Cousins for Trey Lance trade. You probably have to throw some other stuff in there to make it even, but those being the two pieces of that trade could be a fascinating one right away of saying, hey, we can't win with Kirk Cousins' contract, but maybe we could win with Trey Lance. Let's do that option. It's a team that could potentially consider it. Number 7, the Detroit Lions. This is kind of similar to the Kirk Cousins thing a little bit of, hey, maybe we go after a guy who has the higher upside than Jared Goff has. We still have Jared Goff be our player next year. He's under contract. He's still the quarterback. So unlike, Vikings, who maybe would throw in Kirk Cousins in that trade, I don't think the Lions would throw in Jared Goff because they want to, be competitive now. But if Jared Goff, is Jared Goff next year and looks solid but nothing special, maybe if you like what you see with Trey Lance in, preseason and training camp and all of that, maybe you let him come in and see what he can do. They're a team that doesn't need a new quarterback, but could consider an upgrade. And Trey Lance, still has high upside. I mean, he hasn't looked bad when he's been out there. He's just been injured so much. Number 6, how about the Rams? I mean, I don't know how many years Matt Stafford has left. Why not maybe say, you know what, Stafford, thanks for the ring. We'll have you, maybe keep you for another year, see what you have. If you go back to being great, okay, cool. We wasted a draft pick trading for Trey Lance. It is what it is. But if Trey Lance, if Stafford isn't as good anymore, Trey Lance could come in, and again, it's a different scheme than he's used to, but not wildly different to Sean McVay versus Shanahan stuff. So there's definitely ways I could see Trey Lance succeeding in that situation. And we know the Rams aren't afraid of trading for a player if they like him. So definitely they don't need a new quarterback, but they could consider it. And if Lance is available and available for not as much as maybe you might think, well, maybe it's worth it for the Rams. Number 5, the Raiders. The Raiders would make sense, right? I mean, again, you have Garoppolo, but how much do you trust Garoppolo? Why not get someone who, not you can trust Trey Lance either, but why not just get, another option, another plan here to where you can learn for a year, learn the system, and if you like him, then the following year you can let Trey Lance take over as a starter. Also, yes, I do understand the irony of how funny would it be if once again Garoppolo gets somewhere and Trey Lance follows behind him. That would just be kind of funny. But yeah, there would be logic behind it. Number 4, the Patriots. I mean, listen, the Patriots already have a couple of quarterbacks that they feel okay about, right? Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, but why not throw another one in the mix? And we've seen that they're willing to get some, quarterbacks who use their legs. We've seen them do that. They went out and got Cam Newton, and that worked out, okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't a disaster either, although definitely they would have maybe liked it to be a little better. But for the Patriots here, They're a team that definitely could consider, they have a question mark at quarterback and have a pretty good team outside of that. So maybe getting another option, another guy in the building could make some sense. Number 3 is the Balls, also known as the Washington football team, also known as the Washington Commanders, also known as the Washington R-words. The Balls here definitely could consider an upgrade at quarterback as well. Now, you have Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett, so it kind of feels like they already have their veteran guy who they like, and then the young guy with upside. But I don't know. I'd probably rather Trey Lance, the 3rd overall pick, than Sam Howell, the guy who was picked with the first pick in the 5th round. I think I would feel more confident with Trey Lance. So if you're looking for a young quarterback with upside, feel like he could make more sense potentially, and maybe you could even throw Sam Howell in the trade package if you wanted to, if you're Washington. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers absolutely should consider this if it's an option on the table. Again, Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask are players, but I don't know how confident you feel in either of those two guys. Baker Mayfield's fun. He's fun to watch. I don't know if you feel too confident in him. So, again, I don't know how good the Buccaneers are going to be this next year either. There's some reason to believe they could be solid, but maybe get a guy like Trey Lance who, for Todd Bowles, he likes to run the ball a ton. Well, Lance could help you out with that, help out the running game. That could be helpful for Tampa Bay. Would not be the worst idea in the world to get someone who has upside and get a young player who can potentially become a very good player. And number 1, the Atlanta Falcons definitely feel like they're a team that could make this happen. I really like the situation the Falcons are in. I like a lot of the talent around the quarterback situation. I just don't love the quarterback situation. The Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder 1-2 combo is not one I'm overly excited about if I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. So, again, I'm not saying Lance would come in and for sure hit, but there's definitely potential, and I also think that unlike some of these other teams that I mentioned, this would be a good fit for Lance. This is something that if I'm Trey Lance and they ask me, hey, where do you want to go? I would say Atlanta seems pretty nice because they have some good weapons. They added Bijan Robinson, who, say what you want about the draft pick, should still help a young quarterback develop, with Kyle Pitts and Drake London also on that offense. And I think Pitts is still good. Good offensive line, good play caller who kind of calls a simple game that should be easy for a young player to understand. I think they would be able, Arthur Smith did use Ryan Tannehill's legs in Tennessee, so I think he'd know how to use Trey Lance's legs in Atlanta. This one would make a ton of sense, and if it's true that the 49ers are considering trading Trey Lance, which I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, then definitely Atlanta is a team that should get on that. So, yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on all of that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.